Hey, somebody's got to start the bubbles. Yeah? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to the Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today, and with every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. The Professional Noticer is sponsored this week by our friends at Tucker ATV. You know, the sheer variety of power sport products at Tucker ATV will just blow your mind. Hustler turf equipment, the entire line of Echo power tools, and of course, Tucker ATV carries every make and model of Polaris ATVs. They have the big Polaris side-by-sides and the even bigger Ranger Crew. Actually, you have to see the showroom to believe this place. The taxidermy, the antique displays, and I love the customer service porch. It's inside with a porch swing and comfortable chairs and television, free coffee. At Tucker ATV, they treat customers like family, which is why folks from 14 states have done business with Tucker ATV. Visit the Tucker ATV Facebook page and read Lisa's articles. Very funny. And meet Shannon and Lisa in person. Highway 43 North in Jackson, Alabama. Tucker ATV, the small town business with the national reputation. Okay, observations and answers. That's what we do here on the Professional Noticer, and we love it when somebody comes to the table with both. Our guest today I met 12 years ago, and he represented a specific wine that I was very curious about because it had Shakespeare on the bottle, and the wine was called Writer's Block. And we have gotten to be friends. He's taken his skills into a different liquid profession. But please welcome Chip Marett. Hey, Chip.
Good morning, Andy. There's nowhere in the world I'd rather be than right here.
Man, I appreciate it. And you know, you were doing wine for a long time. And we've heard of water being turned into wine, but now you went from wine to water.
Yes, sir. Not just water, but Evian water, the premium water.
Yeah, you kind of got on me for having some other kind of water.
Well, I mean, we've all, as Southerners, we've had water any way we can get it, but there is a difference, and I can speak to that.
Yeah, I grew up drinking it out of the hose.
Of course.
So tell me what it is that you do with Evian first?
Well, I'm a regional manager covering about 10 states in the middle of the country. And we have a distributor that handles all of the national chains, the Walmarts, the Publix, and so all of those. So I am the liaison and regional manager speaking with that distributor, keeping them on point with our product and everything that would fall underneath that.
Gotcha. So there's tons of people working there that are doing. So, okay, now I got to ask. I mean, this is just from just a bozo's point of view. You know, I go into the grocery store and I go in, they're Benny at Publix, and I see there's that water and that water and that water, and there's Evian water and there's that water and that. And sometimes I'm in hotel rooms and they have Evian water. And so I have gotten to where I can kind of tell the difference.
Well, good. I'm glad you can. It's a much softer water. I mean, water comes in a lot of different...
So what is the difference with Evian water? Where is it from? What's the difference? Tell us.
Well, it actually comes from France, the French Alps. It comes from a town called Evian. And this is about 300 years back. Actually, it was in 1789 when the source was discovered. By accident. And then we move forward to, 1846 when it was actually established as Evian being a thing, and then a protected source. So there's such a long story, but it's a 15-year experience of how Evian water becomes Evian. It's a trickling of ice and snow melting through glacier rock down to a reservoir. We only get what the mountain gives us, and then we ship that water to 143 countries across the world. We are, without question, the global leader in premium water. There are, as you spoke of, lots and lots of waters out there, but most of what you see is a purified water that comes from multiple sources.
So what is the difference? What is purified water?
Purified, I mean, could be from Orange Beach, Birmingham, or
It's
Kansas
boiled,
City.
I guess. Or,
Well, yeah, and I really don't know the process, but it's multi-sourced, and so there has been cleaned and however that process goes. The important thing with this is untouched by man until you drink it. I mean, you are now
Really?
touching it. It is not touched. It is not pumped. It is not. They. I don't know how they get it from the reservoir to the bottle, but then they ship it. So and especially in this day and time we're in right here, it is the purest of pure when it comes to water.
wow. Now, you said there's a 15-year process. Is that 15 years from the drop coming through the mountain?
It is, and we asked that in one of our meetings. How do you know that?
How do you know?
Do you
Yeah.
put a little boat down and he
Yeah.
rides it? There was a scientific answer there, but because we have hundreds of years of data on that. That has been checked, and that's not something that's been made up. It is the case, and then when you get into like pH level and electrolytes, these are big catchphrases in the world of water. The pH level is at 7.2. Your body composition is between 7 and 7.4. So we're right on target and have been that way since the source was discovered. It's checked multiple times through the day. It's never differed. And then the electrolytes, they are, in athletics, people talk about electrolytes and you need those. Happens naturally, obviously, as well. And that is an enriched process through the glacier rock. I don't know how, but it happens,
Right.
and it's pretty cool. And it's a softer water. So I didn't know until I got into this industry. But if you're going to get into something, it's nice to get in at the premium level.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me. I have always made fun of wine people. Wine people say, "Oh, I can taste the oaky soil of the elderberry leaf," and I'm like, really? I don't know, but people can, obviously. People are. I mean, the wine is so, and now you have gone into an area that the taste has to be much finer. I mean, because I say there's a lot of waters, there's probably 20. I mean, there's not thousands like there are wines.
Right. Well, and that's true. And that's a good comparison. I didn't know a lot about anything, including the wine business, before getting into it. And even in my time of 10 or 12 years in that industry, I was more of a volume guy, not the guy that's running a restaurant that's getting into the wine maker and the soil content and all of these variables. When we're talking volume, that's a pretty good thing to be in too.
Right.
You can sell a little bit of a lot or a lot of a lot, and that's good. So that I was not a purist in that degree, but I did learn a lot from being in that industry. But with a wine, you get into who is the wine maker? When you spoke of writer's block, that's Jed Still, who put that on the map. And they get into, there's a lot of manipulating there to get the wine content like they want it. That's a scientific process. Going back to the water, we're not tampering with anything. I mean, this is straight from the mountain. And, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is like whoever the owners of Evian are, they bought the source, and there's no tampering with it.
And it's a protected source. I mean, and it goes so deep, and trying to keep this relevant without me overplaying my hand, for instance, we're carbon neutral, and I didn't know what that meant. That's another thing when we talk about.
What does that mean?
Carbon neutral is a certification that we earned in 2017. And any omissions, well, obviously, I just said we're shipping this to 143 countries. There are trains, there are ships being used, and any offset there that may be happening, that is then offset with us planting millions of trees around the world that offset that. It's a certification done by the people that do the certification.
Okay.
And so that was earned. Our factory and I use the term loosely factory because it's hardly a factory, but it's all 100% reusable energy through, I guess, solar panels and this type thing. So when we talk about going green or natural, we do it from the minute the water drips out of the mountain to how it's gathered. Now, we can't do it by an electric boat, but it's natural through and through.
It is amazing in a world in which we live, where people are wanting to get back to the basics and wanting to get back to organic and pure and nothing added, and that you represent a water source that is one thing. That's all it is. I mean, that it's almost mind-boggling in our world where everything is, ranch flavored and this and that. That you would have something that is that pure and that it comes out to be the pH that our bodies are.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I agree. I mean, if I could just go back in time to the late 70s or 80s, the music, the lifestyle, everything was just simpler and better. I do like some of the technology we have now, of course. But I was just thinking, as you said that, like Polly asked you, I'll go to the grocery store. So I just needed the simple cream of mushroom or cream of chicken that's used in hundreds of recipes.
Right.
Go try to find it. There's maybe 100 different Campbell's out there, and that's the staple to the brand pretty much. So yeah, it's amazing that this water. When I say 100% natural, there's sometimes people go, well, it can't be totally. No, it is. I mean,
so who is your competitor? Who competes with you with this?
Well, the square bottle that you're familiar with is a competitor, the one that comes from the little island.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I got you.
And that would probably be our number one competitor. And, when we really owned the 80s, we did Super Bowl commercials. We're in bottle shots of, I was watching a Friends episode recently, multiple movies. If you have a keen eye, I will pick up on a wine bottle. Sometimes the label's turned, but if you know the bottle well enough, you'll pick it up. You'll see Evian in a lot of 80s movies and sitcoms. And then we made some changes there and weren't as maybe as aggressive in our marketing, allowing some other people to move up the chain. And we're shifting and getting back into the marketing a lot more aggressively, or we're certainly turning it up a notch. So that is the deal there. Water has been on a growth for, 2013. I've got some data there, and it's going up. But is $17 billion in water was in like 2013, and it's gone up every year. But premium water, which there's only a few in that market, and with us being the global leader, it's growing at 2 times faster than purified water. So people want more. Better.
I don't want to pump your competitors, but tell me the names of premium waters. What are premium waters?
Fiji would be one.
Fiji.
And really, but beyond there are others, but others that may claim to be in that party. I would just say Fiji would be the closest one, and then there are obviously, if I'm being candid, that there are obviously differences there too.
Right. Okay. So, but everybody else is adding something.
Well, and I don't want to make that blanket statement. I'm sure there's some others that claim. In fact, I know there are, but they're so far down as far as their sales in comparison.
Right.
So that it's really those two in my book, and there's nothing wrong with the purified waters. I mean, our kids that play athletics, rarely are you going to see somebody walk out with a case of Evian or a competitor. It's more of something a lesser expensive purified, because we're just, I haven't found a water that's actually bad for you yet. It's just,
right.
I like to say this. People, including you and me, I didn't grow up in high cotton by any means, but I enjoy nice things. And there are a lot of people that drive a Mercedes, and there's a lot of things that'll get you back to Birmingham, but it's nice if you're driving in a premium product.
Yeah.
And same thing with Evian.
You know, that does ring true with me too. I had a gentleman tell me in early adulthood. He said he said if you can buy something that is the best, you just save until you buy the best. You don't have to keep recharging it. It lasts. It stays at a stable level, and and I guess that would include fuel for our bodies. So
Absolutely. And here's the good news. A lot of these premium products, whether it's a hotel, an automobile, a rifle for hunting, whatever it is, you are typically paying a significant difference. We're really not talking about a great difference. I mean, maybe $1 in some cases. And then, of course, we are on sale at these national chains often. So we're not talking about really in comparison with other things we consider.
$1 a bottle or $1 a case?
Probably $1 a bottle, but on a case that doesn't add up to 12. If it's a case of 12, It's not $12 more.
Right.
So it's the good news is the source is fantastic, the product's fantastic, but we're really not breaking the bank to get there. The benefits are far worth the difference, at least in my opinion. I realize I have a biased opinion, but it is.
You have the stuff to back it up.
Well, I mean, going back to wine too. I mean, you've had wonderful bottles of whatever the varietal is, and we do a lot of shopping at Costco, and I've had them all. But there's some standard wines that get the job done.
Right.
So anyway, it's premium is good, and certainly Evian is too.
Well, from a business perspective, how does Evian approach the market? How do they, what is their strategy? What do you do?
Well, we made a big splash, excuse the pun, back in the 80s with, like I said, bottle shots and commercials and such, and through some different changes there. Now we are coming back. Social media, as that we're on now, is a big player. We're doing that. We've had some influencers there. That's a key word with that I can't speak to a lot of that. So doing some billboards, some commercials, some things like 7-Eleven, the largest convenience store in the country. Of course, they're not in Alabama, but we're on.
Not?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Circle K and Mapco and such. But that's there's ads that run there. So we're really kind of cranking that back up where we had really pulled back. And I really can't speak to why that was, but we're getting back in the game with that.
What do you see in the culture behind the scenes? What do you see with the people?
It's really, we sell a lot of this product. Let me say this: Miami, New York, L.A. We have been and are still into the fashion and arts industry. We have had a 30-year contract with the U.S. Open for tennis there in New York as the not title sponsor, but one of the lead sponsors there. To my knowledge, that's continuing. But we have been saying, look, Middle America, I handle Iowa and Missouri and these areas, and we need to get down to hitting those markets too. So even in Birmingham, where I am, we sell a lot of this product to people that you wouldn't normally think of. So I'm going to use this term loosely, but it's kind of a status symbol, whether we're talking Starbucks or other things that are kind of send a message, hey, I'm running with the big dogs. I've got the...
Yeah, why do you think Starbucks works? Why? I mean, if you go to the bottom of the pool on Starbucks, is it convenience? Is it cachet? Is it taste?
Well, I'll have to be honest, I'm really not a coffee drinker, but it is another miracle out there how somebody can come into as we mentioned, water. It's free out of a water fountain. Here we are selling
Right.
it. No one's laughing as a multi-billion-dollar industry. With coffee, it was relatively free, hotels and such.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's concerned about gas prices. We're paying more for this.
Yes. No, it's true. We're paying more for everything. And I don't know where the ceiling is on that. But the coffee thing, I have not read the book or anything on Starbucks, but it's fascinating the direction the gentleman had and what has happened. And to answer your question, I'm going to say there is a high percentage there that's strictly status. You're walking into the office, if you're walking into an office, and you've got your $5, $8 Starbucks, and I'm sure it's pretty good. But is it that good? Hey, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a coffee drinker, so that's not a jab at Starbucks. They're doing their thing pretty well.
Right. What about the? What are you seeing today in the supply chain? What do you see in? Because it's odd to me. Like I asked Polly yesterday. She said, "Hey, do you want me to get anything at Publix?" And I said, "Butter pecan bluebell." And she came on and she said, "There's no butter pecan bluebell." There's not? She said, "Yeah, there hasn't been for a while."
Yeah, and I wish I had more information on this. I can tell you.
So what's going on? I mean, are you seeing stuff with that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, we are. Us and literally everybody in any kind of beverage, and then it goes way beyond that. The supply chain.
I mean, obviously, it's not a disaster that I can't have butter pecan bluebell ice cream, but I'd never asked for it and didn't get it.
Well, and that's what I was telling Catherine, my wife. We have been accustomed to whatever we want, just being there. And when the pandemic hit, we saw the mass grabbing of items, people almost hoarding them, but looking out for when is this thing going to end? And now we've kind of cycled back to it. So the supply chain issue, I'm only privy to a little bit of it, but we are suffering from it. The good news is we have plenty of water. That source is remarkable, and gathering the water and shipping it is not a problem. I say it's not a problem. There's things called shipping lanes, and you have to forecast how much you're going to ship, and then these ships have got to come into the ports, and they're struggling on people there at the ports, and it's got to go through customs. And then when it gets to these different ports and these holding patterns, it's got to be distributed around the country. And we're just these distributors, whatever it is, whether it's tires or the furniture we're sitting in, this stuff it's just one thing after the other. I was talking to your guy last night at Publix. He said, "We don't have any beach chairs." Well, we're, what are we, a couple hundred yards from the ocean?
Yeah.
Well, the beach chairs are coming from China. Well, they come by boat like many, many items do. And it's not that I don't think, having struggled manufacturing chairs. It's just they got to get here. And there's so many different points. There's only so many boats, so many people checking the product in, and then you go through these variables. So we are caught up in that as well. It's going to get fixed soon.
So where does that? I mean, where does that break down? Because you would think that it would be like maybe a 10% lessening across the board, but there seems to be a choke point. Because they're making them, they're stacking them up. The water's coming in. They're bottling it, and they need it. But where's the choke point?
I wish I knew. I'm glad I'm not in control of that, both from a political view or from just the logistics of making this happen.
I think if everybody wore their masks, then the supply chain would be connected. If everybody just would wear the mask.
Well, there are a lot of people that feel that way. I tell you, I don't know. It like I said, it's just the conveniences we have and have continued to have, and they're great. putting the GPS in and finding a better route to get here and whatever. The technology's been great. But this craziness that we're living in right now, and everybody's got some real strong opinions, and I'm one of them.
Right.
I love this country, and I of course, I'm crazy about you. And when you talked down this intro here about a life coach, there have been many people that have filled that void, and you're an integral part of that. But I don't want to overplay my deck here that I have the answers. I don't know where that chokehold is. I don't know how severe it is. And I don't even know that I want to know. I mean, I do certainly want to know about my precious product here and being supplied, but it's a scary time. And like we as America do, we get through things. We will get through it, but I need it to get through like today, and, and get back to doing what I mean. We just recently had a gathering of friends for my anniversary. And it was good to shake hands and hug necks and be normal. And you don't know, I don't go off on a tangent here, but when something's taken away from you, that's when you want it bad.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to go to a football game. I'm ready to tailgate. I'm ready to tell people how much I missed them. And that's way off course from what we're talking about. But these things that we took for granted, and I've taken a lot of things for granted, but I am in great hope of the return to, and I don't even know what normal is, to be honest with you. But be acting normal, I guess.
Well, man, thank you for taking the time to be here.
It's been my pleasure. I tell you what,
I really appreciate it. I will be much more thoughtful picking out my water now. I'll be thinking of you as I drink my Evian.
Well, I've got some for you and the boys and Polly to enjoy. And this has been a pleasure. It's always fun seeing you and hearing you and gaining knowledge from you. And I just, on behalf of Evian and my team and what we do, we thank you for this opportunity to give you a little background on this beautiful product.
Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Chip Marett. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing the tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Evian water provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by the Historical Toenail Museum of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Friends, are you jaded? Have you long been a victim of been there, done that-itis? Do your kids feel like they've seen it all? Well, they haven't. And we'll prove it to you at the Historical Toenail Museum of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Just off exit 256 on I-40 running straight through Albuquerque is the biggest collection of celebrity toenails you're ever likely to see. In the presidential collection, there's the right big toenail of Presidents Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley, Roosevelt, Nixon, and Obama. You can see the left little toenail of musicians such as Beethoven, David Cassidy, Johnny Cash, and the middle toenail from the left foot of Marie Osmond. From famous historical figures, we have the right second toenail from Daniel Boone to famous wrestlers like the right big toenail of Hulk Hogan. We got them all. So come in and make a day of it. Enjoy real, true history as you experience a special piece of that one you've long admired. We are the Historical Toenail Museum of Albuquerque, New Mexico.